As the director of photography, we don't always get the liberty of doing a location scout prior to the shoot. So when you walk into a space, you might be greeted by a location which might be less than ideal to film in. Having a few cheap moving blankets in your kit can help you get you out of a pinch in some of these instances. Here are 5 ways that I like to use moving blankets on productions that I work on. If you want to increase the contrast ratio of light on your talent, you can use a black colored moving blanket as negative fill when you don't have access to 4x4 floppies or duvetine. The moving blankets you get from the store can be pretty large, so they're great for adding a bit more shape to your image. Just position the moving blanket close to your talent without being in frame to add additional contrast. The easiest way to rig the moving blanket up is with a T-bar on a light stand with a couple of A-clamps. This will allow you to position the blanket and make any fine-tune adjustments to the amount of contrast easily. Your location may have some windows or light fixtures that are creating some unwanted pools of light on either your background or talent. Moving blankets can be used to help block any unwanted light coming through these windows or from these lighting fixtures. Similar to when using moving blankets as negative fill, I generally set the moving blanket up on a T-bar rig and move the blanket into position to remove the unwanted light from the scene. Although not as effective as having a lighting team tenting out windows or using really large solids, using moving blankets is a great alternative for smaller lighting setups such as interviews and pieces of the camera. One thing to note though is that since moving blankets aren't fire resistant, make sure to avoid putting them in front of hot lighting fixtures such as tungsten light bulbs, as they can catch fire. It can be a pain to walk into a room to hear a lot of echo. One way to reduce echo in a location is by having sound blankets in the room to help absorb the sound. If you don't have access to sound blankets, placing a few moving blankets around a very echoey room can have a similar effect to using sound blankets. Just place the moving blankets as close as you can around your talent without affecting the lighting. This will help break up the size of the room as well as absorb some of the sound. Popping a moving blanket underneath the talent if the floor is a hard surface such as wood or concrete can also help with the sound treatment of the room. Although the overall performance of the moving blanket won't be as good as the sound blanket, they can work in a pinch. This is what this location sounds like with no moving blanket setup. And this is what the location sounds like with a moving blanket setup. We can spend a lot of time kneeling on hard surfaces. To help extend the life of your knees, you can roll the moving blankets up into a burrito, which you can use as a soft surface to kneel on. The burrito also makes for a really comfortable thing to sit on. To do this, fold the moving blanket into thirds. Roll it up from one end and then fold the opposite end towards the rolled up portion. Tuck the rolled up portion into the fold and you'll have a comfy burrito to kneel or sit on. I've used moving blankets on top of polished wood floors as an area for any hard cases and stands to be placed on before being set up for the shot. The soft blanket will help prevent any scratches to the floor if a case is accidentally kicked or dragged whilst you're on location. These are the 5 ways that I use moving blankets on the productions that I work on. Although they're not as good as their film counterparts, they can definitely get you out of a bind. The one thing that I love about moving blankets is that they're inexpensive and are readily available from your local hardware store, so you won't have trouble getting one before a shoot. I'd love to know if you've ever used moving blankets in creative ways on your shoots down in the comments below. If you like this video, you might like these videos here. Don't forget to subscribe to see more videos like this in the future. Thanks for watching, and until next time, don't forget to hit record.